This is a game that takes me back. The LEGO Star Wars games were such a big part of my childhood, mainly the complete saga and the Clone Wars game, but just playing the Skywalker Saga unlocked memories for me that I had completely forgotten over the years. And that nostalgia mixed with the new formula TT Games has created for the Skywalker Saga makes for a truly special experience, even if you aren't a kid anymore. This game is honestly for everyone. Sure, some things may feel dumbed down and easy for a younger audience, but there's plenty of references and nostalgia for Star Wars fans of any age to enjoy. And this is unironically one of the best Star Wars games I've played in a long time.
Do it.
Now, I'm not exactly sure how much of my audience was actually interested in this game, but I've never seen a LEGO game generate so much hype and excitement before, which is really a testament to how this game evolves the franchise.
Execute Order 67.
Yes, my lord.
No, not 67.
The campaign for the LEGO games has always been really unique, throwing plenty of twists and funny moments on some of Star Wars' most iconic moments. They added the option for the mumble mode, which used to be the only option in the classic games. However, I think the voice acting is really solid in this game. They even got the Clone Wars voice actors to do the prequels, which I thought was really cool, especially hearing Matt Lanter deliver some of Anakin's most iconic lines. Now, admittedly, I was a little worried about the humor for the game because I didn't want it to be overly childish, and while some of it is and the constant comedy gags are a bit annoying sometimes, some of the jokes and references were pretty funny, especially for hardcore Star Wars fans.
Be with me. Be with me.
These are your final steps, Rey. Rise and take them.
I don't like sand.
I agree.
There's a lot of fun references, and the game embraces a lot of the memes and is able to make fun of the source material, which is great. Then of course they put their own LEGO twists on some of the big moments, some of which genuinely surprised me. The story also significantly speeds up the pace of the movies, which makes sense obviously, because otherwise it would literally just be the exact movies but in LEGO form. And maybe it makes the story really disjointed and rushed, but I don't think anyone really cares. We're not playing this game to get a full story. Just go watch the movies. The gameplay is really where the Skywalker Saga's new additions shine through. They made so many changes from their usual formula of LEGO games. I love the new camera as opposed to the old fixed camera. This way you can actually follow your character around, and it makes the levels feel more immersive and bring you into the action more instead of feeling more like a spectator from a far distance. The third person over the shoulder aiming is another great change. Actually being able to free aim is huge, and again it just makes the action and gunfights more engaging. The aiming and shooting is still very simple, of course. It's not meant to be super in-depth or anything, and that's okay. It's already far more fleshed out than previous LEGO games. There's also a cover system now. Again, it's pretty basic, but a nice addition to have. It really makes the game feel more like your typical third-person shooter. One of my personal favorite new additions is the inclusion of lightsaber combos, once again making the combat way more in-depth and engaging. As opposed to just the button mashing we're used to, there's actual combos you can string together, and it even has a counter like many other open worlds like Batman Arkham. Not only that, but each lightsaber wielder, be it Jedi or Sith, has their own unique set of animations, which is great. It makes each character feel different and unique. You can also manually block, dodge, and throw your lightsaber now. You can freely use a variety of force powers. There's just so much more depth to the combat system in general, and it kept the game engaging for far longer than most LEGO games, where the gameplay starts to feel really repetitive after a short amount of time. Not to mention the controls feel really good as well, even on mouse and keyboard, which usually gets poor treatment, but I actually preferred it to controller, especially with the free aiming. You don't get a mouse cursor for the menus, which is kind of annoying, but aside from that, it was ported on PC very well. The large selection and variety of characters was one of the biggest selling points for me, and I'm sure for many people for this game. There's over like 400 characters or something crazy like that, many having different outfits or variants for their looks in different movies movies, and some of the characters are so small or have so little screen time, I was shocked they actually went through the trouble to put them in the game, but that's just how devoted they were to giving you as much detail in this experience as possible. I never thought I'd be able to play as a character like Yaddle, for example, who's very briefly in the Phantom Menace and doesn't even speak. Not to mention the character packs that come with the deluxe version of the game that gives you Mandalorian Season 1 and the solo movie characters, with plans for more on the way already. There's so much potential for future content and expansions for this game. They could do Rogue One, Clone Wars, Rebels. There's just tons of possibilities, which has me really excited and will keep people returning to the game. All the characters are divided into different categories based on their skills and roles in Star Wars, and each type of character has their own unique set of skills needed for different parts of the game, along with their own extensive skill trees that you can upgrade, as well as core upgrades that apply to every character, like for example, increased movement speed or collectible detection. Studs are of course still the main currency in this game that you collect all over the levels, which you use to unlock new characters, outfits, upgrades, and even stud multipliers that increase your intakes. And eventually you can get to like 3,000 times studs, which had me racking them up by the billions. It's a really satisfying progression system. As for the mission design, there's a lot of puzzles, which are fairly easy. Some may be a little difficult if you suck at puzzles like me, but I didn't have much trouble with them. And the space battles in this game actually feel really good. I'm someone who doesn't particularly like the space battles in video games, but the controls in this game feel really smooth and easy, so I quite enjoyed them. All the episodes have some sort of boss fight. Usually it's a lightsaber duel, but you may end up fighting Jabba the Hutt as R2-D2 as well. I really enjoyed the boss fights. My only complaint is they're way too easy, but again, it's a Lego game, so it's about what I expected. Revenge of the Sith had a lot of really fun boss fights because that movie is just jam-packed with action, and I love it. That was definitely my favorite movie to play through in the game. Some of the missions have multiple routes you can take, and there's even some very light stealth mechanics in this game, which I was certainly not expecting. You can sneak up behind people and just break their bodies in stealth. I think the missions can be a little simple and repetitive sometimes, and there's some weird ones like retrieving Luke's milk bottle or being a waiter as Kenobi, but overall I enjoyed most of the missions, even if it did get a little old by the time I got to the sequels. But a lot of the changes and new additions really improved the overall experience, and this new formula is a big step forward for Lego games in general. A big selling point for the Skywalker Saga was its massive, more open worlds and levels. The game is pretty much an open world, and being able to travel and explore different planets at will was always a fantasy for me in Star Wars games, and I can't believe LEGO Star Wars is the game that finally delivered that. Well, I guess the Old Republic games did as well, but in this you get to explore all the planets you see in the movies, which is awesome. I love the openness and the exploration. You get to freely roam around in a lot of iconic locations that you usually don't get to see to this extent, like Coruscant for example, and there's tons to do as well. We're talking side quests, mini games, tons of Kyber bricks to collect, and puzzles to complete. You need the Kyber bricks to obtain upgrades, and collecting them was a lot of fun. Admittedly, it got a little repetitive to me once I'd already put like over 30 hours into the game, but that just speaks as to how massive this game actually is. There's like over 1,000 Kyber bricks. It's crazy. The side quests and mini games are usually pretty basic. Again, it's like your standard open world fetch quest, but I wasn't expecting anything crazy for a Lego game to begin with. But just being able to see all these planets felt really immersive, and there's a great level of detail in all the worlds as well. It's like every Star Wars fan's dream come true. And the game visually looks incredible. Easily the best looking Lego game ever made. The details and reflections in the characters, particles of dust or sand will actually appear on your character if you walk through those areas, and you can even see your character's footsteps in the sand, which is very impressive. I was especially obsessed with the fact that I could see the astromech tracks in the sand. It also runs really smooth on PC. I did have some weird frame drops in two places, which was the droid factory on Geonosis in episode 2, and then the Ewok home base in episode 6. I don't know if others on PC had issues there as well, but aside from that, it ran really smoothly. So, should you buy LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga? I think you already know my answer, but for Star Wars fans, I absolutely recommend it. It delivers a great package regardless of which of the Star Wars movies are your favorite. Well, actually wait. You don't get to slaughter younglings as Anakin, 0 out of 10. Don't buy. Fine, I'll do it myself. But I would recommend just waiting for a sale because why not? The game is only going to get better and get more content, and you could potentially get it for much cheaper. So if you have the patience, then I think it'd be worth waiting. I obviously do not, but I'm a bad example. But let me know in the comments if this review helped you out, or if you've already played the game, let me know what you think of it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, I'd appreciate it if you consider dropping a like on the video and subscribing to the channel if you're new. And other than that, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you all.